Mr. Teddy Nolan Flex and his ugly, greedy wife, Eldora, would consistently reach out and grab food off other people's plates. Everywhere you see one of them, you usually see the other one not long after. There he always stood, nearly 8 feet tall, as skinny as a rail and as humpback as a camel, wildly bucking his huge bloodshot eyes, which stuck out on their stem as he consistently wiped off his big, nasty-looking mouth after quickly gobbling down everything he could get his crazy hands on. Also, there she'd always stand, with her short, straggly hair scattered out all over her small, knotty head, wearing her same old dirty two-piece bathing suit, which she wore year-round, winter, summer, spring, and fall, as she stood there only 4 feet tall, weighing almost 500 pounds, usually as barefooted as a goose, while vigorously chewing and smacking on whatever she had in her short, stubby hands, while also loudly laughing, sniggling, and giggling her small, crazy head nearly off all day long. Sometimes they stood outside busy, bustling restaurants, quickly gobbling down every single thing everybody gave them both, as they quickly chewed up, paper wrap and all, making sure they never ever missed one single crumb. Sometimes her tall, crazy husband would quickly get out on his idiotic hands and knees and surgically pick up every single crumb that fell and stick it in his big twisted mouth so hard he usually knock out his own teeth. On and on they both go, loudly chewing and smacking until nobody within several blocks could even hear their own ears. Sometimes long lines would form to see just how quick they could both gobble down whatever people gave them both, as they consistently fought among themselves over fried chicken, hot dogs, pork chops, hamburgers, potato salad, pizza, everything else, while rolling on the ground, yelling, screaming, hooping, and hollering as her tall, humpback husband, Mr. Teddy Nolan Flex, lay there kicking around on the ground, trying his crazy best to stuff it all in his big, twisted mouth, as his stupid-looking idiot wife, Miss Eldora Doolittle Flex, lay straddled his crazy humpback, tightly squeezing his long, crooked neck, not allowing him to swallow, as she tirelessly choked him purple as everybody else stood there loudly laughing. On and on they both go, pulling and tugging for hours on end, non-stop, until his ugly, greedy, lunatic wife, Miss Eldora, finally took her part and quickly gobbled it down while still choking him almost beyond recognition. All day long, they stand there in front of nearly 800 laughing onlookers fighting over scraps while also loudly laughing, sniggling, and giggling their small, crazy heads nearly off. Sometimes Miss Eldora Doolittle Flex would have her big blabber mouth spread wide open with 2 huge hamburgers in her short, stubby arms, ready to gobble them both down just before her tall, ugly, humpback husband, Mr. Teddy Nolan Flex, would quickly grab them both and stick them in his big, nasty-looking, crumb-splattered mouth and take off running full speed as his angry, stupid-looking two-piece bathing suit-wearing lunatic wife, Miss Eldora, reached over, grabbed whatever she could get her short, stubby hands on, and as she savagely chased him all over town while loudly yelling out, "Teddy, why you ugly, humpback, selfish, ignoramus, you better give me back my dat blame burgers right smack in now. Teddy, why you ugly, humpback, selfish, ignoramus, you better give me back my dat blame burgers right smack in now," as she angrily swung left and right, knocking down mailbox, trash cans, small fences, stop signs, and almost everything else in her crazy path as he ran faster and faster until he would always somehow run right smack dab into somebody's house and finish gobbling down whatever he had took, paper wrap and all. And his angry lunatic wife, Miss Eldora Doolittle Flex, took whatever she had in her short, stubby hand and loudly pounded away as she stood there rubbing his small, knotty head that he had knocked several times nearly off, loudly yelling, screaming, hooping, and hollering, while also wiping crumbs off his big, twisted lips and ducking for cover. On and on she usually go for hours on end, loudly banging him upside his small, knotty head nearly 200 more consecutive times as he ran from room to room, completely destroying their entire house inside and out, as they always angrily jumped up and down, repeatedly yelling out, "Dat blame it, Mr. Teddy, can't y'all take y'all's mess somewhere else and out of my dat blame house? That blaming Mr. Teddy, you two idiots, can't y'all take y'all's mess somewhere else and out of my dadgum house right this snapping minute. As they always quickly grab their guns, shot off several rounds in the air, and Mr. Teddy Nolan Flex and his ugly, barefooted, fat, ugly, stupid-looking bathing suit wearing crazy wife, Miss Eldora, desperately took off running full speed back home, where they both continued fighting over food all night long while rolling around on their small, nasty floor, loudly screaming, yelling, hooping, and hollering until almost 3:30 in the morning, while occasionally stopping for a brief moment to loudly laugh, snickling, giggling their small, naughty heads nearly off, while all their nosy neighbors stood outside looking, gazing, and peeping in through their broken windows while also giggling their heads nearly off. Then, just like clockwork, Mr. Teddy Nolan Flex, who quickly rushed inside, reached out his long, filthy hand and grabbed whatever he wanted off somebody's eating plate and stuffed it in his big, nasty-looking mouth as he stood there loudly chewing and smacking while quickly gobbling it all down, bone and all, while loudly giggling himself nearly to death as his ugly, kinky-headed, lunatic wife, Miss Eldora Doolittle Flex, also quickly rushed over and grabbed whatever she wanted off somebody else's plate and stuffed it in her big, twisted mouth and started loudly chewing and smacking away as the angry customers quickly jumped up on top of their eating table as mad as they could possibly be while yelling, screaming, and throwing angry fists of rage, as mad as mules, while Mr. Teddy Nolan Fleck and his idiot wife, Miss Eldora, still stood there looking like two huge, filthy pigs, vigorously eating up all their food piece by piece, nonstop, while loudly laughing, snickling, and giggling their stupid-looking heads off almost all day long. Then after they had both completely ate up every single drop of food, bone and all, and savagely licked their plates shiny dry while the angry customers still stood there loudly yelling, screaming, blind with anger, Mr. Teddy Nolan Flex and his ugly lunatic wife, Miss Eldora Doolittle Flex, would always quickly hop up on top the small eating table, widely open their big blabber mouths, and start the never-ending belching competition, making one loud, obnoxious noise right after the next, non-stop, until nobody inside the entire restaurant could even hear their own ears, as Miss Eldora stood there all barefooted, half-naked, with her short, kinky hair aimlessly scattered out all over her small, kinky head, jumping up and down, kicking up her crazy heels while loudly giggling herself nearly to death as her tall, skinny, humpback, stupid-looking husband, Mr. Teddy Nolan Fleck, stood there ranting, ran back, widely opening his big twisted mouth, belching and burping so loud and hard until his crazy head nearly came off. Then after the entire customers in the restaurant got completely fed up with their utter stupidity, the angry restaurant manager would always reach over and grab whatever he could get his huge callous hands on, haul off, and loudly knock the I don't know what out of Mr. Teddy Nolan Flex, usually causing him to fly across the entire room, landing almost 50 feet away, as he always quickly jumped up and quickly took off running full speed with his fat, crazy wife, Miss Eldora Doolittle Flex, only steps behind him, also running for life and death, as she consistently adjusted her huge two-piece bathing suit and nearly came completely off with each step as they both ran under houses, jumped over fences, jumped off bridges, climbed up trees, dashed across busy, bustling streets, desperately headed back home while loudly screaming, yelling, hooping and hollering, while also being savagely knocked down every few feet or so, non-stop by nearly 800 angry customers and the restaurant manager, 82-year-old Mr. Thomas Tip-Top Tiny, who kept repeatedly yelling out, "That blame you, Teddy, you and your fat, crazy wife, Eldora, you two idiots. Y'all better take y'all's crazy rump somewhere else and stay out of my that blame restaurant. That blaming, I mean it," as he always immediately hauled off and loudly banged Mr. Teddy Nolan Flex right smack dab upside his small, knotty head one more time, causing him to land nearly 50 feet away. Then after always reluctantly running back home, all tired, angry, and frustrated as they both could possibly be, the very next day you could always see them both standing outside another busy restaurant as Mr. Teddy Nolan Flex stood nearly 8 feet tall, as skinny as a rail, and as humpback as a camel, wildly bucking his huge bloodshot eyes, which stuck out on their stem as he consistently wiped off his big, nasty-looking mouth after quickly gobbling down everything he could get his crazy hands on. Also, there she'd always stand, with her short, straggly hair scattered all over her small knotty head, wearing her same old dirty two-piece bathing suit, which she wore year-round, winter, summer, spring, and fall, as she stood there only 4 feet tall, weighing almost 500 pounds, using as barefooted as a goose, while vigorously chewing and smacking on whatever she could get her short, stubby hands on, while also loudly laughing, snickling, and giggling her small, crazy head nearly off all day long. Sometimes they stand there all day long, quickly gobbling down every single thing everybody gave them both, and quickly chewed up, paper, wrap, and all, making sure they never missed one single crumb. Sometimes her tall, crazy husband, Mr. Teddy, would quickly get down on his idiotic hands and knees and surgically pick up every single crumb that fell and stick it in his big twisted mouth so hard and fast he nearly knocked out his own teeth, as his ugly, kinky-headed, crazy wife, Miss Eldora Doolittle Flex, stood there loudly giggling her idiotic head nearly off all day long.